Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. Always a delight to have Dave Dotterrer with us today, and he's going to kind of give us a little bit of an update of the special session that the Oregon legislature is going to start coming up on Monday, and also to let you know that he is a candidate for the state Senate seat. His opponent is Senator Alan Bates, and at this point, you have nobody running against you in the primary.
That's correct.
Well,
that's correct.
Okay.
It's a pure the two of us right now.
Okay, all right. Nice to see you, friend. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
It's good to see you. It was good to see you at the Right to Life.
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun? That was a great get together.
Great rally. Good to see you there. All right. So, what do you think is on the agenda for the special session coming up Monday?
Well, the first thing they are going to have to do is take a look at some budget issues. You know, there's going to have to be some adjustments, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But I think that coming out of the 2011 session, one of the great things that came out of that was, even the liberals came to understand that you need to hold some money in reserve. So even when they were in charge this last time, there was some people in the liberal establishment that were smart to say, we really do need that conservative idea of keeping some money in reserve is pretty nice, and so they did. And so I think that'll be taken care of pretty quickly. So that'll have to be taken care of. But now we're getting into, the governor wants to bring back up the Columbia River crossing, and pushing for that. There is a gun bill that's going to be coming up also. And it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. So again, there's going to be some issues, and I guess what I find very interesting about this is these little short sessions were sold to the people of Oregon as mid-course corrections things. And if you start to see what's happening here, they're starting to be, now wait a minute, this is just another opportunity to bring up, I didn't get this passed in the last session, so here's my agenda and I'll push it. Well, that's really not what the sessions were designed for.
This is the second of the approved special sessions.
Correct.
So in the first one, how many items were on the agenda and how many got passed? Do you remember?
You know what? I don't have but the sense though was, I'm kind of thinking back to it because it was bipartisan.
Right.
Remember, we had that evenly divided,
right.
and everything.
You actually got some things done.
You actually got some things done,
right.
And because it was that way, it was. The two parties had to sit down and say, well, what's important to you and what's important to me? I don't want to go there, and so they didn't go there. And they said, well, what can we actually get done? And actually, when you only have a month to hold committee meetings and work through this, the legislative process is burdensome, and it should be.
Let me ask you this quickly. I know the governor is considering this bridge over the Columbia River, and Washington State wants nothing to do with it.
Right.
Question number one, is there any money to even consider this?
Well, Perry.
Okay, the answer is no. Okay, we have some footage on that.
Well, not only that. And the relevancy of your question is what?
Yeah, zero. Okay. Well, I just want to give you an idea when you go up there, if this comes on the table.
Yeah.
And I know that they think, well, we'll just turn it into a toll bridge. I think what you ought to do is this. You toll everybody that doesn't have an Oregon plate. If you have an Oregon plate, you go over that bridge free. But if you don't have an Oregon plate, you pay.
Okay. All those people from California and Washington going over that bridge. You know what? Okay. You know what? We should put that on the table as an option.
I think you should.
Absolutely.
Because if we're going to take the initiative and somehow come up with the money and then ask the feds to help us do this, I mean, it's ridiculous this whole thing is. And I understand there is a need for it. But let's say it moves forward. Then say, okay, anybody that does not have an Oregon plate pays.
Yeah.
Pays a toll.
Yeah. And it would be interesting to see the legal challenges to that, and that would create all kinds of issues. Great. That's why we have courts.
That's right.
Put it in front of the court and see where they go with that. But you're right.
What? It makes sense and it won't go anywhere. Let me ask you this. Cover Oregon is a mess. And the governor's out trying to get reelected. Now, that's a whole other issue. But any hope for Cover Oregon? Can this thing be turned around?
Well, of course, there's always hope, but the latest we got, Richardson and I sat down and talked with the analyst from the legislative analyst, and he said, I don't think this thing is going to be up and running until September. And so, is there any hope for it? Well, it depends on how you define hope. If you have to wait all the way till September to get this thing running, does that constitute success? No, it's a mess, absolute mess. I think that. Eventually, we will work our way through these kinds of things, but you know, the smarter thing to do right now would be to go back and look, what should we have done really in the first place?
The Oregon Health Plan worked better than this thing did.
Oh gosh, oh I know. Well, you know, what bothers me more than anything is the hubris of a state government that believes it can take over this enormously complex thing called the healthcare system and run it. And also what bothers me is, you know, if you step forward and say, I got it, then you better be prepared to take it. And what happened was they said, we got it. And then they completely botched the execution of it. And now you're leaving people who do need health care, who do need health insurance, because they were counting. They said, we can do this. Well, they can't do it. And that hubris bothers me more than anything else. So there's a free market out there.
Any revenue or any tax bills going to be on the table this go around?
Oh, I'm not aware of any right now that are being pushed, particularly because tax bills are tough to get through in a short session. But you know that there always will be somebody out there waiting for that little opportunity to slip one in. And you know, remember, at the end of the session, there's always going to be this give and this take and grand bargains and everything like that, and you don't know what's out there. You have to watch it.
Okay, so anything on the table that you can see that may help businesses?
No. You know, I mean, it just, that's what bothers me more than anything else in that legislature. What we do is we keep talking about, we're all about jobs in the economy and we're going to solve these problems. And everybody puts it at the top of their list. And then when they sit down and they put up together their legislative agenda, they never make that one of their priorities. It's all the other little bills, like a gun bill or all these housekeeping kinds of things that really don't address the larger issues. And so that's disturbed me all along. And my view is that every bill that you put in front of the legislature should be looked at in the prism of what does this mean for jobs. Mm-hmm. And if you look at it that way, then it helps out a lot. But in terms of a legislative agenda, I haven't seen anything on that.
All right, so what are you going to do up there? What are you going to be looking for yourself? You're snooping around up there.
Well, I'm gonna continue as the strategic budget analyst for both of the House and Senate Republican caucuses, and so they're relying on me to do that analysis for them and looking for those kinds of things. And more than anything else, what I'm looking for is the connection between not just the budget itself, but what does the budget mean to what we're trying to accomplish. And that, again, disturbs me very much, where I see where we think we just go spend some money over in this area and we're going to get a better outcome. Mm-hmm. And that just isn't true. We all know that. But for some reason, the legislature hasn't quite figured that out.
All right, so the Oregon legislature goes into session Monday. It's for, what, 35 days?
35 days.
And they can't go over that?
That's correct.
So they have to gavel at the 35th day?
Yeah, so it'll be into the first week of March, and then they'll gavel out. And again, it's meant to be a course correction. I think the people of Oregon were wise to put this into the Constitution. However, I still hear people say, well, you know, maybe we ought to have a full-time legislature. And I go, you know, don't ask for that. No, you do not want that. That is one of the great things I do see up there. You do see citizen legislators, and it's a part-time legislature, and that's good. Yeah.
Is the governor expected to be around?
Yes. And I know that, you know, he's going to be working the legislature. I mean, the CRC is a big thing to him, and so is we're going to see whether or not there's going to be any oversight. I don't see any oversight coming, any legislative committees or anything doing much of a oversight and look at, well, what really did go wrong with Cover Oregon? Yeah. You know, and they're not looking at that. And the governor's going out and spending $250,000 to hire some outside organization to look at this after the horse left the barn. Yeah. When you know what went wrong, you just didn't oversee this properly. Yeah. But I don't see anything. For example, I would think that when you have a system that crashes so badly as Cover Oregon, it's the responsibility of the legislature in its oversight mode to hold hearings and say, okay, so let's It doesn't have to be partisan. Let's find out what went wrong. But
well,
I don't see that at all.
But the D's are still in charge, and
Absolutely.
you don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening.
All right, I got to wrap this up. But people want to get involved in your campaign. What do they do? How do they get a hold of you?
The easiest thing to do is to go to my website at theDotterrer.com. We're uploading more information onto that this weekend to put out more my policy positions, and there's all kinds of places you can get involved.
And I just might add, he's got this unique role where you are the liaison between the House and the Senate Republican caucuses on budget issues, which is really a respectable thing for you to be involved in that at that level, because you're actually involved, and you have been for a couple of sessions now.
Right, yeah.
So this guy's on top of it. Thanks, man. Best to you.
Thank you.
Hey, call in when you're up there, would you?
I will do that.
Or Skype in or something.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah, we want to get you in. Okay, we'll be right back.